Sorry, I had the wrong thing up. It's gonna take just a minute. All right, now I got it.
Is that what it takes? It takes everything. It costs us so real. I can hear the voice of my mother echoing down through the years, saying love your sisters and brothers. That's why we're all blood here. Nobody told me it's like this out here. Is that what it takes? It takes everything. It costs us all we have. This love. Is that what it takes? It takes everything. It costs all we have. This love. This love. This love.
Hello, my name is Kevin Leonard and I joined TREIA in June of this year. With us not being able to meet in person, I thought I would introduce myself with a member showcase for you. My background is in sales for an IT hardware leasing company, which I've been doing for about 10 years. The reason I joined TREIA is I'd like to accomplish my goal of buying, rehabbing, and selling or renting a property. The problem I'm currently having though is closing that first deal. And I think it's due to the fact I'm overthinking the entire process, mainly how to work with lenders and finalize the paperwork on a property itself. I'm looking for a seasoned investor who is currently going through a flip or rehab on a property who would allow me to simply shadow them throughout the whole process. I can also help you by managing vendors, paperwork, and even hands-on rehab, essentially anything that would help your project move faster. I'd be forever grateful for your assistance to help me through the process so I can close my first deal myself. You can call or text me at 919-332-3662 or email me at gtleonard@gmail.com, which is also below. Thank you. My name is Kevin.
We can't win for losing, fighting every step of the way. Battles we shouldn't be choosing. Price is too high for us to pay. Nobody told me it's like this out here. Is that what it takes? It takes everything. It costs us so real. This I can hear the voice of my mother echoing down through the years, saying love your sisters and brothers. That's why we're all blood here. Nobody told me it's like this out here. Is that what it takes? It takes everything. It costs us all we have. This love. Is that what it takes? It takes everything. It costs us all we
Hey everyone, hello and welcome to Experienced Investors. Thanks for being here today. A couple announcements. As you know, networking is still going on our Facebook networking page, Triangle Real Estate Investors Networking Group on Facebook. It's very active, so you haven't done so already, join there. Another suggestion, if you're a new member and wanting to get to know people, please turn your cameras on so we can see your beautiful faces. It'll be very important when we do get back live is that we'll know you by face and not by a little black box.
Black box.
That won't help us recognize you. So if you're putting in the time and doing the work to come, make sure you get recognized for it. And plus, we just love to see you. Other ways you can network or get involved. If you want to volunteer or have an idea for any special projects, drop us an email or put a note in the chat. Email is TREIAprojects@gmail.com. You can make a nice little member spotlight there like Kevin did. Tell people what you're looking for, what you want, or, you know, just to get to know people, you know, even if you're not really looking for anything. We have a very exciting December coming up for you. We're planning, because we normally have a big party with lots of fun and food and drinks and games and prizes, which we cannot do this year. So we are planning a virtual party, so to speak. It won't be at one given time. It will be a little party throughout the month. We'll have little dribs and drabs of pop-up meetings and things here and there. So you're gonna have to be diligent and watch your email, watch the Facebook, and Could come up that, hey, we're having a special bingo game today with prizes or something like that. So all throughout the summer is going to be just chock full of fun and surprises, all real estate related, because it's the only way we can really think of to do it. If you all have any suggestions, we'd love to hear those too, because we're working that out. If there's anything you'd like or a way you think we could celebrate meaningfully on Zoom, please let us know, because it's not really all that easy to be creative and come up with this stuff. Leslie, what do you got?
Not really. Nope, right there with you. But yeah, December is going to be, we're just going to try and make it a little bit special this year, because thanks to the government, they've reduced our meeting capacity back to 10 from 25. So that kind of, hopefully by January and when we plan to get back in person, that will have resolved itself, but we'll just have to wait and see. Other than that, we just love being with you guys on Zoom. So thank you for joining in with us. And next Tuesday is a big one because it's our annual meeting. And as well as that, we've got a super duper gal who's going to come in and show you how to get a whole bunch of leads, because everybody needs leads. And we're also going to be giving away turkey. So, but you need to be in the room to be in the deal. So you got to get on and be present. And we're going to be doing some random drawings, and we're going to be giving away some turkey gobble dinners. And so join us on Tuesday at the usual general meeting time of 6:30. And we're all going to be on, and we're all going to have a good time. So and as far as the rest of the month, stay tuned to your calendar. They'll be coming up. And I'm going to hand it over back to Kath or on to Melanie.
Well, Milani.
All right. Thanks, guys. I think it's awesome that we have some new faces here. I'm really excited about today's topic. I have an awesome presenter here that I love that we'll get to in just a second. I just wanted to piggyback on what Kathy was saying of without being able to network in person, I love to see faces on here. I also want to encourage people who might not know that you can go up, and if you hover on your little box and click on those 3 dots, you can rename your box, and you can put, hey, Melanie Hawk Rehabber or Melanie Hawk Airbnb, whatever it is you do, or if you want people to reach out to you on Facebook or whatever it is, then you can rename your little thing, your little box, your Zoom profile. And so it's a way of branding yourself. So take advantage of these times. And when you're on these calls, go through on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, and try to reach out to all of these people and say, hey, it was great meeting you or seeing you on the meeting today or being in the same meeting. So make sure that you're actually networking. There's still Zoom networking to be done. And I think that that is a huge thing. If you're, like they said, if you're here, putting in the time. If you don't feel comfortable turning on your video, which I highly recommend, and I love, thank you. Is it Simone? Did I say it right? And Caitlin, thanks so much for being on and seeing you. It's awesome. And of course, I always like seeing Lionel as well. And Gracie, I love your picture. And the other ones, I just want to see your faces. But if today's not the best day, I got you. I understand, right? But definitely make sure that you're doing something with your title, so we know how to reach out to you or what you do, and if you're a private lender or whatever. Okay, people definitely want to know if you're a private lender, right? And then the other thing is we're going to miss you guys next month because we're not doing experience next month, but I'm excited about the different events going on next month. If you have any ideas of topics that you want talked about here, then definitely reach out to me and let me know. You can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And also, let's see, what was the other thing? Oh man, I should have taken better notes. I can't remember, but anyways, so it's great to be here. Excited for this topic today. Brandon is a good friend of mine. We met we were speaking together in, I think, Mexico. And I loved his topic because I don't know if he's going to go way deep. Brandon, are you going to tell us about your background a little bit, your story?
No, I wasn't going to go too deep into it.
Guys, he has
However,
I mean, he's got this wild background that it's like, wow, you came from that to where you are now. We did a podcast episode together, and interviewing Brandon was awesome. anyways, he's where he's come from and what he's doing now using credit is incredible. I was going to read his bio, but just take my word for it that he's going to talk about things that you like, look at him. It's like, oh, he looks like my brother. Like, he just seems like, he's just one of your friends. Right. But he knows his stuff, and the crazy things he's doing. Like, I remember when I first started getting into rehabbing, and I thought, how am I even going to find money? And finding private lenders was this new hurdle to overcome. But like, even the idea of using credit, like, well, you can't go buy a house with a credit card, right? And that's what I wanted him to talk about today, is how to use credit to actually purchase properties. But then we're going to get into other things with business credit, or whatever questions you have about credit, your personal credit, any questions you have, please, please, please write them in the chat box. Okay. Don't feel like they're dumb. If you want to send them just to me, if you don't want everyone to see, that's fine. Any question you have about any type of business credit, personal credit, how to buy houses, properties with credit, all of that, Brandon can answer and has answered for me. So definitely make sure you're using that chat box, and we will bring those up to him when the time's right. Okay. So throughout, definitely write in the chat box. Okay. So Brandon is awesome. Brandon, take it away. And then we will have a lot of questions throughout and at the end as well. So thanks, Brandon. This is Brandon Elliott, and I'm going to let him take the stage for a little bit. So go for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Milani. You guys are the best. And the rest of the crew, I appreciate you guys all so much for having me. I'm really excited to be able to share a little bit of the knowledge that I've learned over time, and how many people we've helped out over time. But a little bit about my story is I'm from New Jersey originally. I'm a real estate investor first and foremost. But how I got started into real estate investing, and we've done fix and flips, but most of our strategy is the BRRRR strategy. So buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. So that's what we fell in love with, to get that, passive income. And so most of our portfolios in Ohio. We've had New York as well. We've sold that off. We live here locally in San Diego, California. So super spoiled. And we've done the fix and flips out here, but we've been taking more territory doing the same exact BRRRR strategy out here now, which has been awesome. The difference is, instead of renting it out, we're doing Airbnb, which Milani is like the queen at, right? So we've learned a lot from her and some other people, and just kind of, taking action and failing forward to be able to succeed with that. And it's been a huge blessing. But how we got started was with credit. I was working 2 restaurant jobs. I was saving up as much money as I could. I was reading as many books as I could on the BRRRR strategy, and podcasts, YouTube, like you name it, networking with people. And basically I just didn't have enough money saved up. So I utilized my good credit to be able to build up big credit lines, purchase properties with credit cards. I purchased several. I've completed every single remodel on credit cards. And I've even done hard money lending with credit cards, all costing me 0% interest. And obviously, you can do the math on anything above that is pretty good deal. So what that kind of transitioned into is we've started a credit repair company to help out a mass majority of people out there, which we've helped hundreds at this point, which is very exciting. And then online education courses to be able to show people and educate them on how the banks are judging them and how to be able to play the game, be able to educate, fix your own credit, build up your own credit, and leverage your credit with business, personal, and so forth, like we have. So, a topic that I saw some people might be interested in is how to purchase properties with credit cards. So I'm going to dive a little bit into that today, and feel free to be as interactive with me and ask any type of questions. There's never a stupid or a dumb question out there. Credit isn't taught in school. So by all means, a lot of this is going to be new for many people. So I'm going to skip over the personal credit unless you guys have any questions and you want me to talk a little bit about that. But I'm actually going to give you guys a free gift at the end, to like a video that shows you the 6 boxes, how the banks, the lenders are actually judging your credit, and how you can actually improve that on your own, be educated, and simply just be able to like really, I wouldn't say manipulate, but improve your credit on your own to be able to get the best of the best rates and get approved for everything. So
Yes.
you can set yourself up for success.
So let me just jump in right there because yeah, he has
Please.
a freebie at the end that he can give you the link to, guys. And when he we've had great feedback on this because I think it was the same freebie he gave on the podcast. And when I saw it and when I asked questions about it, there were things that I was like, how did I not know this? Like I was focusing on the wrong thing. So it's definitely worth checking out just to get a little more of your personal credit in line and basics that I thought were basic, but I didn't know. So obviously they weren't that basic. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, so we're going to kind of skip over that. But if you have questions about that at the end, then totally. But also he has that freebie to help out with personal.
Yeah, and the only reason I skip over it is because by itself, it's like 30 to 45 minutes or more to really get a good understanding. And there's going to be a lot of questions anyway. So I already did a pre-recording for it to really be able to try to answer as many questions as possible, just so you guys can have and look back at. So you definitely want to take notes on this stuff, but I'm going to share my screen in just a second. Let's see. I'm going to dive into okay. So first and foremost, you're going to want to check out your credit score first, and just make sure that you're in a good position, right? Can you guys actually see my score or my screen?
Yeah, you're good, Brandon.
Okay, cool, awesome. So check out your credit score. Identity IQ or My Score IQ is a good link to be able to get a better understanding of like where you're actually at with your personal FICO and what needs to be improved. And then watch that video, the free video later on, to get a better understanding of like how you can improve it on your own. Okay, and then basically the real secret sauce behind this is relationships, and it comes down to the banks. So it goes apples to apples when it comes down to personal or business. You really want to have as many bank accounts as possible, and obviously you don't want any fees or anything like that. So every bank's different. All relationships are different. Some you can keep an account open with $5, $100, $1,500, several, or there's other ways to make it free. First and foremost, I would recommend just Googling, certain opening a brand new bank account, like bonus, because there's several that you can actually make good amounts of bonuses throughout the whole year by just opening up a bank account. I know it seems ridiculous, but literally last year, no exaggeration whatsoever, I made over $5,000 just by opening bank accounts.
Well, wait. So you're saying like it's like a sales pitch? Come open an account and we'll give you money. Basically, is that what you're talking about, Brandon?
Yeah, well, there's promotional deals going on with each bank, each branch, that encourages new clients to, open up a bank account with them, and they will give you $200, 300, 500, 800, like all different type of numbers. And then if you open a credit card with them, after building the relationship, get a pre-approval from them, then you can take advantage of that. And then basically there's other additional bonuses within that as well. So it can be very powerful, but you can simply just Google to see which banks are giving those bonuses.
And are you saying like, are you usually seeing these from like the big Wells Fargo type or little mom and pops or just both?
Both, yeah. So definitely with the bigger companies like Chase, we just opened up. My nephew's 18. He just moved in with us, and I'm kind of taking him underneath my wing. And we just went to Chase. We opened up a bank account the other day. He's going to get $300 bonus, just bare bones. Like, there's other options that if I wanted to really help him out and give him some extra cash to be able to make this happen, he could have got like $1,500, so there's many different ways to go about this. And that was just one bank account, right? So we're going to open up several others. There's business bonuses as well, personal, checking, savings. So basically you just want to go open as many, banks as possible that obviously you're not going to get any fees behind. Do whatever the minimum is to be able to make that a good situation. And then, when it comes down to actually getting promotions from a certain bank, or if you're about to apply for, like, if you want any products or services from them, then what you want to do 3 to 6 months prior is really fund that account heavily, uh, have a lot of transactions going in and out. You can simply just transfer money from a different bank account into this one and go back and forth to make it look like a lot of transactions are very frequent. But it's important to just go heavy on it for 3 to 6 months before actually applying for something. And then the longer the account has been open, the better, because it shows the relationship that you have.
Brandon,
Obviously,
is it a bad thing if it's like an auto transfer?
it's not a bad thing. No, it's
Okay.
not. No, you can set up automatic transfers just to systemize your life a little bit more. I like that. Um, so it's like pretty important that you have to be able to get you into the best category, to have a minimum of like $10,000 when you're or greater. And it doesn't need to be much greater than that, because the next tier above that is going to be like 40 to 60,000. So it's not needed to get to that tier. You'll be really in a good situation if you can get 10,000 in there. It's going to look very good. It's not 100% needed. It's just an extra additional like bonus to if you really want to make sure that you're in a good situation. It would be something that you can do. And then basically just know your local branch, make the relationships very strong, know the managers, like humanize with each and every person in your branch, get them to love you, get like when you walk into the building, they should all be super excited to see you, your energy reflecting off theirs, and just make it an amazing experience so that you can get that family type of vibe and be able to get the easy, like they'll do anything to make sure that you're approved. And I've had that numerous occasions, just managers waiving fees, bending over backwards to make sure that I would get approved, even if it originally got denied.
Okay, so Brandon, this is a
Yeah.
great topic, and maybe the people on this call are way more advanced in this area. Okay, probably y'all are, because I've never done this, and I've heard people say all the time, you got to build relationships with banks, and I understand that. Like, I know the name of the branch manager, but I don't know. And they know when I come in with a gaggle of children. Like, they remember that, right? But
Yeah.
and so I think they do remember me. But like, how do you come in and be like, I'm going to be borrowing thousands and $500,000 from you. Like, how do you even start that conversation to say, I'm somebody that's going to be around? Like, do you bring in cookies? Like, how do you build that relationship? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so you can do many things. I think it's just personality, standing out with personality, getting to be a little bit more personable. If you have dogs, pets, figuring out if they do. They typically always have pictures of their family, or something that they care about within their desk. So just it's really building relationships. You can bring in coffees. I've done that. Gift cards here and there during holidays, stuff like that. But really just make it a point to let them know what you're doing. And people get pretty excited if you're on the right path and you're excelling. They want to do the same thing too. They're in the finance space. So they're going to be pretty excited for a lot of the movers and shakers that are on here today, of what you guys are doing. So just kind of paint the vision into them, like, hey, this is what I got going on, super excited about it, and that energy will come off, and they'll be pretty excited to just know more about you as well. So when it comes down to the 0% interest, right? You really are looking for promotional deals. You want to take advantage of some different opportunities that, some of them are 6 months, 12 months, 15, 18. There's ones that are like 22 months. Long story short is you want to figure out if there is any promotional deals going on. Usually it's going to be on your credit cards, right? So if you have relationships with them, you have good FICO, no late payments, no collections, nothing derogatory, then they're going to see that you've been with them for a while, you have good history, and you always pay off your statement in full. What you can do is call in and ask them, hey, is there any promotional deals going on behind the scenes? I have this real estate opportunity that I'm really trying to take advantage of. I've done several fix and flips or wholesales or whatever, I'm experienced, and this is what I'm looking to accomplish. It's an amazing deal. I don't want it to pass me by. I was hoping that I could use a 0% interest opportunity on my credit cards. You guys have that option. And sometimes it doesn't like naturally pop up in your face, but it if you call in and ask about it, then there's some good opportunities that sometimes it is an option on there. Sorry, I didn't talk about this one though, I don't believe. So you definitely want to go to it's basically opt in, but it's optoutprescreening.com. So go there and there's an option at the very bottom. There should be like a picture of a guy's face on there, I believe. And towards the bottom, there's basically opt in or opt out. You want to opt in. Opt in, it gives the lenders permission to do a soft pull on your credit, which doesn't affect your score, doesn't hurt you whatsoever. And then they can see if you're a good resource, like you're a good safe bet, a safe risk. If you are, then, and you have a good credit score, then that opt-in is actually going to help these promotional deals start coming your way. And let me give you some examples of. Okay, so Bank of America, I've done this dozens of times. Chase as well has given me these opportunities several times. Wells Fargo, Citibank. So these are some of the bigger ones, right? The smaller banks are amazing as well. And what smaller banks usually give is bigger lines of credit. Big banks give you smaller lines of credit, but if you have big lines of credit on your credit cards, then, and it's easy to do with these companies, you can easily get over 100,000 on a Bank of America credit card. Same thing with Chase. It's not uncommon. And there's certain tips and tricks that we can talk about with that. But yeah, basically just calling in, asking them if they have these opportunities behind the scenes for you for the 0% interest. Otherwise, if they don't, then there's still some different things that you can do with credit cards with plastic. And I'll talk about that in a second. If you do bank with these guys, obviously you have to be able to get this relationship, and there's a promotional deal. They will actually if you take advantage of this opportunity, they'll wire the funds into your bank account within 1 to 2 business days. So it's very quick to be able to receive these funds. And then here are some of the examples of these opportunities. So a lot of people throw out their junk mail. I read all types of mail, even if it's like, I know it's going to be junk. It's so crucial and very important. If it comes from a bank, you definitely want to take a peek at it. You want to see what the heck they're offering you, and then just read the fine print, like deep dive into it. This is
so Brandon, like because when you say you're really telling us to go opt in for more junk mail in my head, right? Because that's what I'm programmed to think, right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking about this, because I feel like so many out there are like not that great a promotion. So I assume as you're going to tell us which ones to actually look for. But so what are the key things we look for in our junk mail to make sure that it's not junk mail and that it's good mail?
Yeah, so stuff like this. This is a promotional deal that they send, and basically it gives you 2 different options. It gives you the 0% interest for I believe this is like 12 months to 15 months, and then there's a longer time if you need it that gives an additional 6 months attached to it, and that's at 1.99%. So, and this is from Bank of America. This one's Chase. So these are the type of opportunities you just got to look for. You want to look for the 0%, look for 0%, and it will normally say promotional opportunities, like an investment approach. And then, like I said, if it's not necessarily getting targeted to you, or you're just throwing out your junk mail, simply call the back of your credit card and ask them, like, hey, this is the deal going on. Do you have any promotional deals that I could possibly take advantage of with credit cards? Now,
Okay, that one is so funny. If you haven't done that, I encourage you to do that this week
yeah,
because
it takes a minute.
it takes a minute, and every time I get like not I guess I would say the first like 20 times I would get butterflies in my stomach, but I think I've only had one person ever say no to me. But there's I like all like, oh, either raising, well, we don't have any promotional, but can we raise your credit limit? You know, like there's so many things you can do to better utilize your credit cards. But sorry,
Yes.
keep going.
And also, if you ever ask for a credit line increase, just be cautious and ask them first and foremost, will this be a hard inquiry? If it's going to be a hard inquiry, don't do it. You might as well just apply for a brand new credit card and start building up that credit line. Chase is really, there's a few others, but Chase is like notorious for doing a hard inquiry. All others typically, like it's like 90% out there is just going to be doing a soft pull. So you'll be in good hands, but it's always, safe bet is to just ask beforehand. Let's see. So how do you pay your credit cards, or how do you pay your contractors with credit cards? And you can also do the same exact thing with purchasing properties. And you can really pay anything and everything with credit cards, and it's on plastic.com. So instead of the C at the end, it's a Q. So plastic.com. If you actually use this code 1380183, you'll get, I believe it's actually 1,000 now. You'll get $1,000 off for free. So there's no fees attached to it, which is nice. But you can pay your rent, you can pay your mortgages. I pay my mortgages with it. And if you're using the right credit cards, and this is very, very crucial, right? So you want to make sure that you're using the right credit cards. You'll actually get paid to do it. You'll because there's fees involved with plastic, but it's very small in comparison to if you're using the right credit cards. You'll have that security with using credit cards, and then you can actually get additional points over that, which makes it a win-win. And like I said, with plastic, you can literally anything and everything that you can think of. You can wire funds into your bank account or to a escrow, anything and everything. Okay, and this is the My Score IQ to be able to get your actual true FICO. So the free gift that I have for you guys is basically at the bottom here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's www.free. And make sure you put the W's. If you don't, it's not going to pop up. So www.freecreditgift.com/blue. And then you'll be able to get those. It's a video that shows you the 6 boxes, what make up your FICO, and how the banks, how the lenders are basically judging you. So you can play the game and be able to improve that. So I can go into a couple other things if you'd like. Otherwise, if you guys have some additional questions about either getting your credit lines increased or...
Brandon, tell me a little bit more about how Plastique works. Okay, so you said that there's a little bit of fees, but it's worth it. Like,
yes.
how does that actually work to pay a contractor using this credit card?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. Just like anything, you can do ACH, so just wired into, like, transferred from paid with your credit card on file, and then you just get their information, their bank account information, and you can transfer it into their bank. Otherwise, you can send them a check, you can send them a wire, you can send them, as if you just mailed it to them as well. So it's very simple.
It just sets up a line of credit, but there's different ways to pay out through that.
It's not a line of credit. It's just a payment option So you're going to use your credit card to make any type
Oh.
of payments.
Oh, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that isn't any financing within Plastique. It's just using the financing your other credit cards to make a
Yeah.
payment to.
Yeah, it's just a resource that you can be able to utilize your credit cards to make the payments instead of, you're using your bank account for cash or anything like that.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. All right, guys, in the chat box, if you have any questions, make sure we've got Brandon for about 15 more minutes. I'm going to just keep on asking questions until you guys have any. Okay, let's talk about let's just kind of touch on.
Melanie, there's one question here if you want it from Kristen Saleta is asking, are these business or personal credit card offers?
So that's a great question. So you can actually do both. Obviously, you would need to have business bank accounts to be able to, and credit cards to be able to get those promotional deals, but both offer it. Great question.
And someone's asking, would you repeat that free credit information, that //
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's a great question. I don't know.
And then we'll pop over to Lionel's question.
Yeah. So it is www.freecreditgift.com.
It's the one down in the bottom in red, guys.
Yeah, at the very bottom. /blue.
I'll put it in the chat as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Probably makes it easier.
Let's have Lionel. What's your question? And guys, you can choose if you want to actually ask it in person or if you just want to type it in the chat. Okay.
Yeah. So my questions, I've dealt with a lot of the business credit. So I know you said it's a variety of different cards. So the key is, I guess, one of the questions I have is with these lenders, because a lot of them like to do the soft pulls, but then when they issue the card, a lot of times they want to put it against your personal, but then say it's a business card. So, so what can you do with like some of these credit card companies to ensure that that's not going to happen? Because if I want a business card, I want a true business card, I don't want them putting on my personal credit. Also.
Yeah. That's a great question. So that comes down to basically setting up your business so that it's established enough so you don't need to personally guarantee or PG, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the way to do this, it comes down to two different steps. The first and foremost is your foundation. The foundation of business credit is so crucial. Just like a house, it's very important to make sure that you have a strong foundation so that you can build on top of it, right? Many people, and this is no exaggeration, I've helped out hundreds. Most people, the mom and pops, you and I, not Nike or Apple Store or anything like that, but people like you and I, unfortunately, don't, like 90% of them just don't have the foundation set up properly. They might have their DUNS number, and they might have a website. Usually everything else is missing. And there's a 10 to 15 step process to really be able to make sure that is super on point. We can talk a little bit about that if you'd like. But then after the foundation is set up and really in good stance, and that takes about like 4 to 5 hours to be able to get that. Afterwards, you wait about 7 to 10 days so it can refresh and be shown everywhere. Basically your SEO, like when a bank Googles you, your business needs to pop up on the whole first front page. Okay. Once that happens, then you can get a bunch of trade lines. So the more trade lines, the better. The first initial goal should be to get to, well, the first is really to get the first 3 so that you can get a PAYDEX score. But after that, it's really, the goal is to get to 10 trade lines, a minimum, reporting on all 3 business bureaus. So that's Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax business. And then also a minimum of $10,000 reporting on all 3 of those business bureaus. Now, once that takes place, then you are in a heck of a lot stronger position to be able to go to the small local banks, and there's certain scripts that we have and stuff like that, how to search for them and what to say in order to get that no PG. But they are going to judge you on 3 different three different type of ways. It's either going to be collateral, if you have collateral on other type of projects, properties, assets in general, your personal FICO, which is the personally guaranteed, or they're going to judge you off your business credit. So if you have that business credit very solid and a very strong foundation, then you're good. Like they're not going to stress you out, and they might do a soft pull just to look at your personal, just to feel, more comfortable and lower their risk, but they're not going to personally guarantee it, which is huge because you can get the big lines of credit. You can get honestly, up to $1 million in business funding within 1 year if you do the right steps and really take action on this stuff. But God forbid if the business doesn't do well or whatever, crazy times we're walking into, the uncertain, it's not, if the business fails, you can walk away from it and it's not going to catch up and haunt you on your personal credit. However, if you're okay with doing the personal guarantee, then if you work on both and really have that strong foundation on business credit, have as many trade lines as possible, the sky's the limit. We give out a list of like 160 trade lines. The more, the better, then you can actually be able to personally guarantee a little bit and get to your goal a heck of a lot faster, to be able to get as much funding as possible, to be able to purchase, complete all your remodels, and do hard money lending or start any business, really. Like it doesn't need to be real estate. I know we're all real estate people in here, but does that answer the question? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I'm good. I've done some business credit, but it was just one of those. I know they like to always try to do a personal guarantee, but I'm one of those like, no.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So being stern on it too, and letting them know, like, I'm not interested in that is kind of the way to go. But it also, if they're asking you that on a regular basis, then I would definitely go back to the foundation, make sure that's set up properly, and then probably still have to get as many trade lines as possible. Like keep on shooting for that.
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
So Brandon, when I have a few questions that have come in. One, how many credit cards should they get? Is there a certain amount of time they should do it within? And those kind of, I feel like, kind of go along with each other. And the third one that kind of goes along with that is, should it be under their personal name or under their business name?
That's a great question. Yeah. So most people, including myself, simply haven't didn't start off, even though we're doing business, right? I didn't set it up properly. I didn't start off doing business. I went with leveraging personal a lot for a long time. And when it comes down to remodels or the birth strategy, you find yourself in a good amount of like debt, like a high utilization, which messes up your cash out refinance at the end, right? So that's why you got to get creative and figure out how to do it properly. I highly recommend, if you're talking business, start setting up the business credit properly so that you can put business on business. Your accounting will love you as well, because you're not going to have those commingling, and you'll have your personal to be your personal. It should still be a goal to be able to raise both and get the bigger the limits, the better. And then when it comes down to that first question, it was talking about
how many cards, and is there within a certain amount of time?
Yes. So there's a thing called a mass apply that we go over. There's ways that you can apply for like 10 plus credit cards in a day. But it's in a certain order. It's knowing which bureaus they pull from, each bank has their own rules of thumb, such as like Chase, they have a 5 and 24 rule. That means you can't have been approved for more than 5 credit cards in the last 24 months, so 2 years, or else you'll automatically get denied, even if you have a 800 credit score or more. If American Express, they have a 2 and 90-day rule. You can't get more than 2 in 90 days. So knowing all these things, putting your list in the right order, and making sure you're at like 780 to 800 FICO score, you'll be able to get do the mass apply, and you can actually get up to 6 figures of funding very quick and easy to be able to do that. And that could be personal, business. You could expand that. The most credit cards, there's a record out there for an individual that did it all within a couple years. He got over 1,700 credit cards. 1,700.
Holy
I know that blows a
cow.
lot of people's minds, and he's still at like an 800 FICO score. So, yeah. When there's a will, there's a way, right? And just figuring out the game, understanding the process. We've had a little over 50 in the past, and there's some cool stuff that you can do with it, honestly.
Wow. Okay, so if I'm just looking to like dabble, right? Like I'm starting to get into it. Is it okay if I go and apply for 3 this week?
So it comes down to the education, right? If you're at an 800 credit score, then you can probably get up to 3 to 4 just winging it.
Okay.
That's not necessarily going to set you up for the best type of like long-term results, but it's still doable, right? We could spend an hour just talking about the mass apply.
Yeah. But
so
so if somebody's just looking like, you know what, I just want an action item. What action item would you give newbies to trying to get credit so that they can, you know, the promotional? Would it be to go through that website that you already told us about? The what was it called? No, not the opt out. Maybe the opt out screen. Is that where we should that's our action item takeaway?
So if you guys want to look up credit cards and get a better understanding of credit cards, understand like the benefits of them and which ones to kind of go for, basically, it's going to be uscreditcardguide.com. Now, it's kind of a long one, but you'll be able to do any type of research on business, personal credit cards, by the bank name, etc. And it gives you the full breakdown of like who they pull from, the bonuses they offer, what their rules of thumb are, so you can do the research. And then at that point, go to creditboards.com. And then and that's going to be like data of other people that have applied for that particular credit card. And they're going to tell you if they got approved or not, or, approved or denied, what state they applied in, what their relationships were, what their FICO was, like all these different things, what they said on their application, and how much they got approved for. And this helps you put your list kind of together to be able to get the best results, right?
Okay. So I guess then 4 takeaway action items am I correct? The first one is to go get the free credit gift so we can understand our personal credit. And then
Yes.
I just want to make sure I put this in the chat. And then we go to uscreditcardguide.com.
Well,
and
go
then
to opt-in first. So
go
do
to the opt-in first. The opt-out
do the opt-in
screen.
because that takes a little bit of time. It'll take a week or so until it starts actually putting out there. And then for the next couple months, it's going to give these banks, let them know that you have a good FICO, and then they'll start pushing it out to you.
Okay,
and if you
perfect.
don't have a good FICO yet, then I recommend figuring out the education on how to either get the credit repair done, or there's certain techniques that you can do on your own that we could talk about if you'd like to fix it.
Okay, awesome. So I put the links to all of those in there. Those 4 different to-do items, action items.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we let Brandon go? Brandon, real quick, tell us, we know that we can get the freebie there.
Yeah.
I know you have an awesome podcast. Do you want us to reach out to you on Facebook, or how do we ask more questions of you?
Yeah, so we give out a lot of education weekly on Mondays with the podcast. So it's Ready, Set, Go, Real Estate Investing Podcast. Otherwise, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments, or Facebook.com/Brandon Elliott Investor. So if you guys have any questions, if I can be a resource or help you out in any way, would love to be able to do that. And that free gift, there's a lot of value on it. So I do encourage that. But yeah.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. I don't see any other questions coming in. Kathy, do you have any? Or are you good?
Nope.
Awesome. Brandon, thanks so much for being here. Huge
I appreciate you
appreciation.
guys.
Thanks
Yay,
everyone for
Brandon.
showing up. Have Merry Christmas, since we won't have Experienced again until January, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully all then again. And let us know if you have any recommendations of topics you want covered. Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Any
so
other
much. God bless,
announcements?
guys.
Leslie, Kathy, you good?
Yep. Thanks,
Perfect.
everybody. Stay
Thanks,
safe.
guys.
Ah, that must have been, you probably just wanted to pipe up there, didn't you?
Was that?
I said, you probably just wanted to pipe up there, didn't you? Because I know you teach this stuff too, so.
Yeah, I was trying to throw out like that question, just trying to throw that out there because I know it's how the banks can look at it. But I was trying to throw a question out for an answer.
I figured. I thought, oh, Lionel's probably giggling inside.
That was good. I mean, I learned some other stuff too. So, but it's always good.
Oh, did you?
Something, yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, good. Yeah. It's always handy to have that stuff. Me, I got a couple of business cards. So, but I mean, I got a couple of personal cards that I just use strictly for business. So, and my limits just keep going up. So,
Real quick
I
question.
find the personal cards, you get way better rates though. Business cards, man, they goon you, at least for the first little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, once they come off the 0%, you're at like 19 point something or 22 point something. So you don't want to use them after that.
Yeah, more than that, they smack you really hard. So
They do. So I just get a personal card, but I just use it strictly. I don't put anything else but my company business on it ever. So that's what I use. And I'm like at, for 13% on that. So it's way better than being up in the 20s.
So I sent you that message. So how does like because you said the real estate 360. So and that's going to stay virtual. So
oh yeah, Kath. Lionel, you met with a lender today?
Yeah. So I was going those lots because I just looked at like 6 or 7 lots for like new construction. So the gentleman I met with today, I spoke with him the other day. He wanted to meet me, and also like they do a lot of different stuff. I mean, of course they do retail, but they also do like the ground ups for like new construction. So they also do for flips and just different things. But one of the things that, because there's a lot of different lenders out there, but one of the things that attracted me to him was the them acquiring a lot, doing the takeout on it if there's a pre-sale. So essentially, say if I went out and bought a lot for 200, right, and then I got a buyer, and the buyer wants to do a pre-sale because now you can list them on the MLS and it shows 0 days on market.
All the time.
Lender that wants to do a pre-sale, then I can, and what they'll do is they'll come in and fund the construction and permanent loan for that person. But then they'll, like if I pay 200, then it takes me out of the picture because now I get refunded that, and not to mention what I'm going to sell the house for. So I essentially get all of my money up front, and then they will supply the construction costs and everything. So I'm into it now for like 0 out of pocket. So
have you heard of that, Kathy?